Hi, I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles. And this is
Bar Talking Bar.
Your access to the heartbeat of New York City's bar and hospitality scene.
Hosted straight from the city that never sleeps, we sit down with bartenders, brands and ambassadors, hospitality pros, and cocktail lovers.
Whether it's the art of bartending, the hustle behind hospitality, or the wildest bar tales, expect raw conversations and industry secrets.
Listen to the people who pour your favorite cocktails and keep the nightlife alive.
If you love bars, spirits, and the stories that bring them to life, follow us, share, and subscribe to keep the conversations flowing.
The podcast that you didn't know you need.
New episodes weekly.
Welcome back to Bar Talking Bar. I'm Edgar Hernandez and...
Hola, yo soy su amiga Nuri Robles. Welcome back to Bar Talking Bar, where you're gonna chat with like bartenders, brand ambassadors, brands, everybody who works in the industry, and cocktail lovers. So tonight
we have Chef Alex visiting us out of Brooklyn, New York, to be specific.
Yeah.
Born and raised to, our amazing city. Chef Alex, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we wanted to start by asking you, how you doing today?
Oh, man. Ando crudo. I'm on a 2-hour nap, but I'm cruising. We did brunch today. And yeah, just driving. Trying to drive through and make things happen. Thank you for having me. It's a beautiful place. What else?
Yeah, so we are friends with Chef Alex for a little bit, and we're very honored to having him. But for whoever doesn't know you, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
About me? As far as in the industry or as
yes,
personal life?
like who doesn't know you? You're a chef. How do you start being in the hospitality industry?
All right. So this goes back a couple of years. A little too many years, actually. I was 15 when I first started cooking. My first job was a place called Manja with my dad. My dad was a cook.
Oh, I know Manja.
Yeah. You know Manja?
I heard about it. Yeah. Actually,
yeah.
I work for Manja probably.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, continue.
So my dad was a cook. I was in high school and my grades weren't good, and he was just like, "All right, you don't want to do good in school, then you're gonna learn what it is to work." And earn some bucks. And, at 15, 16, I was still, I would go to work. But at that age, you don't really care about anything. And you just clock in, you show up late, an hour late. My dad was in the company for like 10 years. So like he was babied. So like whatever I did, like he was, he had no responsibilities. Like I had no responsibilities. So like anything I did wrong was, oh, you're his son, so it's okay. So I didn't care. And honestly, like I said, I've been cooking since I was 15. And I've done a little bit of everything, like fast casual food, Chipotle, burger spots, here and there, kind of like fast food kind of scenarios. But I reached a point when I was like, I could get it personal.
Yeah.
And where like, I was 17, I had a kid. We could talk about that later though. But
you needed to make money though.
Yeah, I had to make money, but in the industry itself, I started working, like I said, at 15. At 25, I would say was the first time I took the kitchen serious, and it was when I started working at the Matter House company, which is Chef Ignacio Mattos from Stella Cafe Altro, Flora Bar in that time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like my first time of like taking
seriously
like cooking.
But also understanding the magnitude of what these names mean in the culinary
Yeah. He's a big guy, but like I said, like even before that, like I'm talking about 15 to 25, 26, like I wasn't really into it. Like I had a kid at 17. So like my idea was just to make ends meet, make sure my kid had Pampers, make sure my kid had food. So I wasn't really into,
Do you ever think like, oh, this is gonna be my career, or just gonna be
no.
like, no?
Honestly, no. Honestly, like everybody asks me that because everybody's like, I mean, you guys tried my food, I guess, and
It's delicious, by the way.
Very delicious, by the way.
and then people were like, "Yeah, you're really good at this," or, I mean, I'm very happy and proud to be like I'm Mexican, so like we always have that, you know, the sazon and you know the seasoning and
The
you know
flavor.
the flavor. You know, our cuisine is very diverse and you know using acidity and you know heat, smoke, anything you know nutty. There's just so many flavors in Mexico, and you know growing up with that kind of food, it's just like helps you when you're working with top chefs like Ignacio Mattos, and you know I work with Jake and Aiden from Shomatan, and we open up Crocodile together. But they're all talented chefs, and it's like they're able to like pick and choose what you want to learn from them, and you know the way they mentor you it wasn't the best times because in that time it was like a lot of you know like
It was an old school mentality,
old school
right?
mentality.
Like you have to follow what the chef says and you have to do it. And sometimes we had those experiences of like you just have to say
Yes, chef.
Basically,
chef.
you have to be a soldier, and somebody has to be a commander, and the commander is running the kitchen. Those chefs back in the day, you know,
They're rough.
They're rough, but I feel like that is something that inspires you. It somehow builds you, and now you are the person who you are. And
Yeah.
you have this structure because these guys base the structure on work ethic, right?
For sure. Yes.
So they actually started, or when you started, probably seeing the changes somehow. Now I'm sure you implemented some of these changes.
Yeah.
And you use a little bit of here and there
Yeah.
for you, you know, for your team
Yes.
nowadays. I feel like now we should talk about the teams. And when it comes to teams, it's like, now that you're a chef, we're moving fast, but I also want to go back there a little bit. Now that you're a chef, what would you say to the young 21-year-old kid? Hey, I should have done this better. I should have learned this. I should have had the time to do this. Or I should have read this book, you know?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I think one book that I read years ago was this chef I had. It was a Anthony Bourdain book. It was Letters to Young Chefs. So when you're there's a line in his book. It says, "Not all great chefs are great cooks, and not all great cooks are great chefs." In my experience, trying to figure like what that line meant, you know, it was very it was kind of weird to understand it because it's like, you know, it's like saying like a great bartender should be a great mixologist, but not a great mixologist could be a great bartender, and you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
a mixologist should be a great bartender, right? Or
Yeah.
the same thing as a chef. Like a chef should be a great cook.
Yeah.
But you know, the way within the time that I've been cooking for now, which is 20 years, you know, like I've learned that not all great chefs, like they could make you a menu, but they can't build you a team, or they don't have the structures or the language barrier maybe because most of the people in the back of the house are actually, you know, Mexicans. So maybe even the language barrier is like difficult to like, you know, try to transpire other people to like understand.
But also I feel like you mentioned, right? Like you're descendant from Mexicans. What part of Mexico are your parents?
So my dad is from Guerrero and my mom's from Mexico City. So I happily say I'm from Brooklyn, Guerrero.
Brooklyn.
Guerrero.
So in a certain point, like I feel like many chefs they have like a French background culinary experience or schools, and I respect that, but at the same time, obviously Mexico has a broad of flavors and everything, but in general, like Latin America, we have, you know, different weather, different terroirs, and I think our palate it's very, very
Diverse.
It's diverse,
It's so
and I
diverse.
think it's bigger than the Europeans, and I feel like sometimes some chefs like that are higher, they can feel intimidated because you've come as a cook or sous chef and says like, "Hey chef, I have this idea," and then they're like, "No, I'm the chef," right?
Yeah. I mean, it happens a lot, obviously, because you're trying to respect your boss, you know,
Yeah, of
your
course.
mentors. So like, you know, there's been times where, you know, there's been times where I'm just like, oh, like I want to make this dish that I think reminds me of my childhood. It's like, or whatever, but you can't do it because, in Italy, they're not using, chiles poblanos.
Yeah.
So now you can't really use that. You can't really use the ingredients you want to use because now you're offending the Italian cuisine.
Yeah, but it also comes with like the concept, right? Because you have Italian cuisine, you have French style, you have European of different styles, but you have Mexican, you have Colombian. All these cuisines are very different. And if the restaurant that you are at, that's the concept they want to show. Even if you want to incorporate things, it might be on a special or like on a dish.
Yes.
Because if you put it on the menu, people will feel weird. They'll be like, chiles poblanos in a Colombian restaurant.
Yeah.
So I think it might be, back and forth. But in a way, I see it, like when you create a menu, when you're trying to showcase your talent, when you try to showcase your style, when you try to showcase your culture, they're three different things.
Yes.
Because talent is also part of the time that you've been putting it into the cuisine, right? Like you may have been a line cook for 5, 10, 12 years, you probably came from culinary school, but they're two different talents, right? Equally skills.
Yeah.
But yeah. But now, so your favorite, you want to say something?
No.
I thought she was saying hi.
Hi, everyone.
And this is when we laugh like crazy.
No, actually, that you mentioned it, like going back to Chef Alex, right? Like you have all the years of experience. You have to work your way up to be a chef, right? Yes. So can you tell us a little bit of like that transition of being like cook, then sous chef and everything for everyone who doesn't understand how kitchens like chefs work?
Yeah, I mean, first you start off, I think the basic and the most important part in as far as the back of the house goes is and like I said, this goes back to like obviously the way my mentors taught me, like dishwashing. It's like, it's like that was my first job, like, my first part of a job. And it's like if you organize, it's what they call organized chaos. If you're able to organize chaos in a dish machine, which most of the dishwasher machines in any restaurant you go to are probably like a hole in the wall. It's like probably impossible to get to. It's very hot. It's chaos.
There's no space to move.
There's no space to move around. It's no ventilation going on. It's you open the thing up and it's the heat's coming, the vapors coming.
Yeah,
it's hitting you. But if you're able to organize that chaos, then and you learn how to master that, then you're able to prep after that, and then you're able to become a line cook, and then you're able to become a sous chef, and then a CDC or executive chef. So my Ignacio Mattos from Estela Nacho Matter House, he's very big in like respecting dishwashers. They're respecting like labels of containers. Like no containers should be allowed in with stickers on, because then once you wash them, we all know that the tape gets sticky and gets gross, and it's like
sometimes they don't get removed after washing,
and it's the worst.
I know there's a big deal.
It's the worst.
For those of us who work in the industry who've seen that, please make sure you take the fucking tape off.
Remove your tape.
Remove your tape. It's like
some people are also lazy. They don't remove it because they don't want to redo it, and they just keep the tape saying like, "Oh, I don't want to write another
That should be a big topic. Like a lot of like. I know this is a bar program, but a lot of bartenders don't take off their fucking tape.
See? Hey, bar talking bar audience. Make sure you.
This is the chef telling. This is the chef telling you. Like respect dishwashers, respect the what goes back there, because that tape is annoying as fuck.
It is.
It's annoying. It's like once it's washed and it goes in that hot 180 degree,
it's glued. It's actually printed.
Yes, it's printed
sometimes into the queer container.
Yes.
And some people think like the containers like they are disposable, right? But
they cost money too.
But also they cost money, and we're like, besides being sustainable, right? Like they cost money, and I feel like some people, they don't care about the industry as well, or like the place they work, and they feel like, oh, I just use this, I don't care, I'm just gonna throw it away. And I feel like the more you wash it, yeah, like it's gonna be there for a while, and you don't have to spend more money or
Yeah.
like waste
I
it.
think
Or
it's
use more
also-
plastic.
But I also think it's part of training, right? So first day of training, I'm not saying people is not training the staff properly. What I'm saying is
Some later.
when you're trained the first day, they show you the ropes. They
Yes.
tell you, hey, this is how you do it. This is how things are done. This is what things are. If you don't remember, tape is like it's like labeling something, right?
Yeah.
And you
It's
put-
101. It should be
yeah,
101,
yeah.
yeah.
Like you put something into the fridge, something into a low boy. If something goes somewhere,
Use first.
has to be labeled.
Yeah.
Has to be dated. Something has to be there. But if also you getting rid of that is going to the dish pit. Get rid of it. Clean it.
But
you know?
also, I feel like going back to the education or training, there's also lingo that people they don't understand, and they're like, I don't want to look like dummy, and you just say yes. I remember when I like learn about these things that people tell you, right? Like at home, sometimes you just come and put whatever in the fridge, and that's it, right? In restaurants, we put like whatever is first use has to be out first. Right?
Oh, rotate. We're rotating
Yeah.
items, yeah, of
and
course.
and because all this has to be out first. So I remember once someone told me like, "Oh, just do it FIFO," and I was like, "FIFO, okay." And I was like, "What the heck is FIFO, right?" And it's first in, first out, right? So those things that sometimes like you don't understand, like
Yeah. Or the UF, and it's use first.
yeah.
But I'm also really happy that you touched that point. We have to respect the dishwasher. We have to respect every single member of the team because it's a pillar. We talked about this, Nori and I, a long time ago. I think this comes from somebody who was sent to the NASA.
Oh
Mars.
yeah, I don't remember what I said. Right, I have to remember, but it's something that it's stuck in my
Stuck in my head.
It's stuck in my head because I think it was very, very, very powerful. It was that the guy, I think it was Bill Gates who went to the NASA, right? And then there's this guy cleaning or mopping the floors, and I think Bill Gates tried to be like nice to him as well. And he's like, "Hey, so what are you doing here?" And he's like, "Well, I'm sending people to the moon." And he was like, but honestly, like, yeah, he's also part of like, probably he's not in the rocket, but he's part of the NASA. And the fact that someone is cleaning, if it's not clean, it's going to create chaos, as you say,
Yeah.
right? So
everybody's important.
Everybody's
And
important.
and we should respect that. Like I always say, dishwashers are the backbone of the restaurant.
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody to clean your dishes, somebody who rapidly cleans your
Yeah.
dishes, because those guys are, you know how I call it spinner. Like when your DJ spin,
Yeah.
I spin my head round, like, because this guy's like sometimes, also depending on the space you have, the machine you have.
It's chaos.
Yeah, it's
It's
chaos.
chaos. That's what it says. If you're able to control the chaos, then once you learn that, then I think you're able to, like, obviously, not everybody's good at it. And, and then that goes back to me saying, like, not all great chefs are great cooks, and not all great cooks are great chefs. Because of the fact that, like, I've had great chefs, chefs that could build your menu and be like, fuck, this is so good. And then you watch them work the line, or you watch them expo, and but this guy's trash. It's like, how do you get lost with 10 tickets, bro? Like, it's like, and it's
Yeah.
like,
I think it's also like not just to be on high volume,
yeah,
because high volume is also a different animal.
for sure.
Like you can come from a cuisine where you are very detail oriented, all this and that, but also has its perks. But when you come with like from a restaurant where you have to make
600
30
cutters.
cocktails, 30 tickets of food in this case, I don't know, like 10 steaks, 10 chickens,
All different
10
temperature.
fish. Yeah, exactly.
Different allergies.
Yeah. On top of that, you also, how many cooks do you have in the kitchen? Because sometimes, there could be also limited. You could
Yeah.
have the dishwasher making salads, because I've seen that. You can have the dishwasher helping make prepping, like
Yeah.
whatever, hands on deck.
delivery away.
Hands on deck.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody comes together. But that's another thing. Like when the kitchen, it's, run in that sense, like a team together, chaos again. I think that's what makes everybody work together as a group. And when it comes to the line cooks, going back to the 10 chicken or the 10 steaks,
Yeah.
how do you manage that? Like
Yeah, how you
like
manage that?
the 10 different temperatures, you know?
Well, also like one thing I've learned is like, I honestly like I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have great mentors. And put it like this, like one of my mentors told me is like, you have to know your cooks, like you have to know your line cooks. He's like, it's like
In terms of personality or how they work.
as personality, but also as how they work. Because like if you're having a bad day, it's like, oh, he came in and he's having a bad day. He's married, he has kids, he has issues going on. You could tell he had a drink or two the night before, and he's coming in crudo. So like that means you have to fire something 5 minutes before the actual fire, because he's dragging. You know, he's not fully there. But one thing I was told is like, learn your cooks, like learn how fast they go, like in the chaos. If you know Jose could bring you 10 chickens in 10 minutes, then you fire in exactly 10 minutes. But if you know that Felipe could bring you, 10 chickens in 18 minutes, then you fire in 18. You don't fire in 10, because then now you're coming up in 25 minutes. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
so it's like learning your cooks, learning how fast they go, learning, control the chaos.
Yeah.
So it literally goes back to controlling the chaos. So any station you work at as a cook, as a expediter, as like, if you're able to control the chaos, then you're like you're part of the orchestra. You control the orchestra.
Would you like to talk to us a little bit about the last 3 places you were part of?
Yes, for sure. So I opened up Layla about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, maybe. They're in Williamsburg on Bedford North 4. Go check the guys out. They're great people, great food,
Yes.
great drinks, great vibe. That was like my first that was my first opening, like full team, full everything. On top of the fact that I had a full-time job and I was the chef at Obuco as well.
Oh yeah.
During that. Yeah. So I
By
did.
the way.
Yeah. I did it was a 3-month project. No day off. 100, it was like 90 days, 120 days, like not one day off. And it was brutal, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's fun. I enjoy doing it. Sam and all the guys are fucking great. They're great people. I also did last year. I don't even know. I'm like all over the place for the past like 5 years. After the pandemic, I've been everywhere actually. But last year I helped Chef Philip open up Sempre OG, which is in Uptown. That was last year.
Last year, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Is it Upper East Side?
Upper?
No, it's Upper West Side.
Upper West Side.
It's on
75th and Amsterdam.
yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. I opened that with Chef Philip, which Chef Philip I met at opening Le Crocodile at the White Hotel. Le Crocodile at the White Hotel in Williamsburg as well. And then what else? And then my most recent opening has been Revival, which is on 161 Ludlow Street. Go check it out. I'm still there. So, we'll do some food. We'll take a shot here and there. We'll have a good time. Good people.
Just going back to like when you mentioned that it took you like 10 years to like take it seriously.
Yeah.
So how is your encounter going to like, kind of like that sense of mind, like, oh, I don't care, and then starting with Chef Mattos, like it's a very big company, big name, big structure.
Yes. Yeah, so like I said, like from when I was 15 to like maybe 25, 26, up until I joined the Matter House company, there was a time period where I was just influenced by the cooks that he had, the chefs that he had, the sous chefs that he had. It was the first time I saw like systems in place. Like I said, like respecting dishwashers. Like I worked 10 years before that in multiple restaurants or fast food places, and it's just grab and go and whatever, and it's chaos and it's not organized chaos. It's like, and it goes back to that. It goes back to organized chaos. it's just chaos, and you try to figure it out, and you're mad about the day, and your day is sour, and like but with at the Matter House was the first time where I saw like structure, where I saw like people caring for how the carrot grew, where like where the cheese came from, and people trying to educate you, and he had people coming in and showing you certain things, tasting at 4:30. We open at 5:30. 4:30 had to put up a taster. Like everybody had to put a taster up, and it was 30 minutes in where you talked about the dish that you were making, and if it's too salty, why is it too salty? Was it because the prep cook put the salt before it, or because the line cook put so much salt, or if the chicken wasn't brine enough, was it too long in the brine, or was it too short in the brine? So it was like my first experience, and where like everybody cared, like from the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Like everybody cared.
It's like also understanding your position, right?
For sure.
Like you understand the position. Now you see everybody has a role. Like
Yeah.
we all play a role, right? Like you said before, it's like a music band. Everybody has something to do, something to say, and something to
Yeah.
Add to the rhythm.
add to the rhythm. To the rhythm of the night. Well,
but
basically,
but also it was like there was like no ego, it's like the dishwasher tried this fennel sausage that the prep guy made and the line cook cooked, and it's like, and then he had a feedback. It's like, oh, I think it's too dry, and it's like, okay, like you're a dishwasher.
como la tía,
Sí,
¿no?
como que it's like what? It's like, oh, this would taste better with si tuviera whatever, like from my pueblo, and I was like, okay, yeah, like
yeah.
but like so it was like it was my first time where I was like, oh shit, like these guys are serious about cooking. Like it's not just putting a chicken on the grill and then send that out dry. It's like it's actually like making sure the process from scratch to when it's finished. So that was my first time where I was like, oh fuck, and that was the first time I questioned myself, and it's like, should I join culinary school? Should I go to and get whatever it is to be up top?
Well, now because at this point now you are like your hunger now is different. Now you're hungry to learn.
Yes.
You want that dedication, but also we want that information.
And
Yes.
I was gonna ask you that. Did you go to
No,
school?
actually, Ignacio Mattos was like, because he didn't go to culinary school, from what I know, but from what he told me that moment. But he was like, listen, like, you stick with me, and I'll teach you whatever I can teach you. And he's like, he also gave me the confidence. He was like, you're smart enough, you're talented, you're fast, you have a palate, you have good seasoning. And he was just like, just stick with me, and I'll show you everything I can, and learn from everybody, learn from the prep guy. This guy, Isaac, has worked with him for forever. So it's like, he's like, learn from him, like question him why he does X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
He's like, because he's gonna teach you. And learn from this guy. He's coming from fucking Europe or whatever. Ask him why, whatever the case is. Like, just ask a lot of questions. And he's like, and don't spend 60 grand on school.
Yeah, I feel like the questions you don't ask us like answers you'll never get.
Yes.
So if you have a question, even if for the most minimum, right? Why is this salt coming from this other part of the world? Why did you decide to use this salt, right?
Yes.
There's a meaning behind it.
And also, I feel like when you work in kitchens or restaurants, the more you question, the more serious you look, like, because it shows that you really care. Like, you want to learn if you don't know, and if you know already, like, it's like getting more information for your the process of becoming a chef. So when you started, you were what, like a cook, line cook?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I started as dishwasher, and then like, in my first previous jobs, it was just like, I took whatever I can, because honestly, like I said, like
But with like the company with Chef Mattos, you started
as a cook. I started
and
as a
then
cook.
how you grow from cook to chef, like
From-
executive.
I went from cooking at Matter House or under Ignacio for 3-4 years. That's where I met Chef Jake and Adrian, who opened up Chamatant, and I worked with them briefly as a part-time. And that was fun. That was cool. I worked with them for like 3-4 years. Aiden, as much as I worked for Chef Ignacio Matos, Aiden's probably one of the chefs that I respect the most, because he's probably the one chef that I saw him come in at 6 in the morning and leave at 1 a.m. and do it again. And
No hesitation, right?
yeah, and it was like, in my head, it was like, why do you do it? You know, it's like, why? You know, obviously he was invested in Shematan. But the way he told me was like, listen, like, he's like, it's all like, this is my baby. It's like, it's my restaurant, so I need to put it all in there.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Ignacio did that for Estella, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Ignacio was there day and night. But I didn't see that, so I wasn't inspired by that. Because when he would go with Ultra, it was like, he'll come in, taste things, whatever, and do his philosophy, you know, spend some time with us. But he also had Floribug going on. So he was like split in two. So I didn't really experience Ignacio like himself in the line. But I saw Aiden do that.
So, like, going to that moment where you were like, okay, I'm the learner, I'm looking up to these chefs. When was the moment that you had the same position? Like you were like looking up, like someone was like your mentee and you became the mentor.
So I think it happened. So after with Chef Aiden and Jake, we opened up Shematan. I spent like 3 years with them. And then that's when Oshomoka happened, which was 3 blocks from Shematan. So I was able to work at Shematan in the morning and then go to Oshomoka after
Okay.
and just work doubles. Like I've always worked doubles all my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So I worked doubles all my life. And then Chef Jake and Aiden we were gonna open Crocodile at the White Hotel. And that was the first time where they were like, oh, like obviously I was they're technically their baby, and we're like, you know how we work, we know how we want things, you know, like, you know, the philosophy, you know, like the structures. Let's go to Crocodile. Let's open this together. And at first I was like scared because, you know, Crocodile it's a hotel, so it's a, you know, 350 seats restaurant.
Wow, that's big.
They have a rooftop, and then they have the events.
Yes.
So in my head I was like, this is a monster, like, you know, this is a beast. And Aiden was like the first guy that was like, you know, this he's like, you need to help me get Shematan situated. So get yourself the best cook, get yourself everybody trained, so that way you're able to come with me over there. And I was like, why would I do that? And he's like, why would I teach somebody else to be better than me? Or like, you know, why would I teach somebody to? And he was like, in order for me to do the next step, like I have to have a team. And that's like, he was the guy that pretty much told me, he's like, I can't open up 4 or 5 restaurants if I don't have a team behind me. And I was like, oh shit, like I was in that for a long time. I was being selfish and trying to become the best and learn the best and me. But then he was like, no, like I've taught you everything I know, so that way I could carry you with me.
And then you can teach someone.
And then you can teach somebody else, and then you take that plate off me. And I was like, you fucking monster. You know, I was like, you know, I was like, no, but he was great. And then that's where I come from now. Like that's the philosophy I do now. Was part of opening. I have guys, you know, for example, Gonzalo, I met him at Estella 9 years ago, and he's with me today. And it's every time I do opening, you know, he follows me. Everywhere I go, he follows me. And I was like, yo, remember that dish we did like back in Estella? Like, he's like, remember that sauce? He's like, can you do that one for me again? Because I don't have the recipe. I lost it.
Oh,
you have
shit.
it? And he's like, I'll do it. And then so stuff like that, you know. So it just, you build that trust within your staff.
Yeah, exactly. And you build that sense of partnership and community and friendship, something that takes you a while to, and also it's part of the trust.
Yeah.
Because now you trust that guy, and whether he's a line cook or he's a
prep, dishwasher,
whatever,
whatever.
like, you know what he knows what he has to do. He knows how you like things done.
Yeah.
And for the benefit of the restaurant, of course, right?
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, it makes a lot of sense that you have that schooling and then you pass it along with the team.
As we know, we talk about in this podcast, Talking Bar, about bars, cocktails. How's your experience working with in restaurants that they have a cocktail bar? Do you create a menu in hand with him, like, you know, with the help of the bartenders, like saying we're gonna pair something? You know, how's your experience working in around the bar?
So it depends a lot. One is, if it's a bar, then you kind of like try to go with the bar. But if it's a restaurant, then it kind of influences more on the kitchen, on then the bar usually works with what the kitchen is providing. But most of the things, like my experience, at least for working with a bartender or a sommelier or whoever it is, it just it's based on, one is ingredient, that's the most important thing, and then two is obviously like communicating on what your ideas may be. Because whether it could be a special for a random day, you're trying to get Monday busy, so you put a special on Mondays, or it's a holiday coming up, it's Mother's Day, it's Valentine's Day. You're like, okay, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of a branzino. I'm thinking of a pork chop. I'm thinking of a pasta. I'm thinking of a burrata. Like anything literally has a flavor and, textures and all these other,
And incorporating the season with what you are trying to create.
Yeah, so it's like, you obviously talk to the bartender and you tell him, hey, I'm thinking of this. Can you make a cocktail that might go with this?
Right.
To cut the fat from the pork chop, to
Exactly.
pick a red wine that's richer, or like full body, because I'm putting something light. I'm putting a branzino with a salad or a sauce. So it's just stuff like that. I mean, it just varies of what's going on, because everybody, like, I've done pretty much consulting for the past, like, at least 5 years, and yeah, everybody has the intake. So it's also like understanding what they have in mind,
Exactly.
because I come from one school doesn't mean he's understanding my school.
Yeah.
Like he might have a different idea.
And
Or she.
when was your did you remember when you started like noticing, like, oh, because you mentioned, right, like you started like going your career as a, working with your dad, and then you became a chef because you work with like very important chefs. When was the moment that you realized, oh, a restaurant has a bar, and also the bar is very important part of the business?
Well, one, they're pretty much bringing in the most money than the kitchen would. You're always trying to figure out how to do food costs and labor costs. You're struggling with in the kitchen as well. I mean, the biggest problem in a restaurant is probably labor costs and food costs from a kitchen. So I think for me, I think the time I've noticed, at least working with bartenders, has been, or at least that I saw it being really important, was at Layla.
Okay.
I think Layla was the first project that I did that was actually more based on the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, we're thinking 80-20, 80% alcohol and 20% food. So when they told me that, I was like, I don't know, like, so maybe I shouldn't go crazy on the menu when you're not really trying to sell food. But then that neighborhood itself is like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, yes, it comes with food, it comes with the season, but also understand the neighborhood.
yes,
So sometimes you have to do a little bit of recon. Go around the neighborhood and see what's moving, how many people are walking around, what the prices are, so you can adjust to the price in
Yes.
in the neighborhood, because you cannot have a $25 cocktail at a place where your local bars are selling a $12 cocktail.
Yes.
So you don't want to, unless you want to
yeah,
fire and smoke and whatnot. Like magic and magician jump on top on the bar top and do all this
the show,
exactly.
yeah.
So going back to that, I think the bar and the kitchen goes along pretty well, and we don't mention that a lot, like how important the kitchen is for the bar, even when they only have tapas, right? Because I've seen tapa bars with only tapas, but also they have a kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So somebody has to take care of the tapas,
Yeah.
and everyone's important in that sense.
I want to put it like this. In my point of view, is that bartenders, I feel like they are, in a certain way, a chef in the bar,
For sure.
because they have to create a menu, they have to create cocktails, they have to use ingredients.
They have to set up a bar to make sense.
Exactly.
bartender.
And you also have a printer, and that when you fire, when you put like you order, and I feel like that also comes from chefs, right? Because you have to work, how to cut the lime, so how to cut your ingredients, and so like right now we have in a era that cocktail bars become more special and specific, that they have to create so many or use techniques that they
Yes.
come from the kitchen, right? Like they have to do sous vide, they have to, do clarifications and fat wash and everything. So how do you describe your experience in that, like going to like cocktail bars and seeing that effort?
Oh man, I think it's cool because well, one, it also opens up my eyes to me in a way. It's like because there's certain ingredients that I would never think of using, or like I wouldn't even think that would make sense in a cocktail. I was like, why would you do that? But then when you taste it, it's like, oh, like you're actually pretty good at this shit. It's like
or when you created a foam and a
yeah.
and stuff.
Like I remember this one dude. I can't remember the place I worked at, but he used genduya.
Oh, the sausage.
Yeah, yes. He used genduya and used just like rendered it and then used the oil from the genduya to like I don't remember what cocktail it was. Like he just gave me a taste of it, and I was like, "Fuck, that's good." It's like, but it was like the genduya that made it like.
Wow, it
And-
just made me think
Defining
about
it,
it. Yeah, probably
Yeah.
fashion. It was makes me think fashion situation.
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
but it was like, but in my head is like, there's. I mean, like you said, now it's like nowadays, like the cocktail program itself is like, it's just everybody's just trying to create these things that, from the chef's perspective, is like, you just want a beer, you just want a. I'm a Negroni guy, so I just want a Negroni at the end of the night. But like when you try these ingredients or like these cocktails that are mixed with peas or whatever, I was like, why would you make a cocktail out of peas? Like that doesn't make sense to me. But then you try it and it's like, wow, this is refreshing. It makes sense. Whatever the case.
Yeah. We also want to know the definition of a cachondo.
But also,
Oh.
we have to tell.
But also, I want to say, like,
But let's go back to how you cross paths before.
Not being cachondo. No,
So-
me, I was being cachondo, but not with him.
so back in 2018, 19, I remember being part of the Bellwether restaurant team.
Where is it?
That was located in Vernon Jackson, 47 Vernon Jackson.
Yeah,
to
for
be exact.
Vernon Boulevard.
Vernon Boulevard.
Yeah.
Long Island City.
Yeah, Long Island City. Unfortunately, the place closed right after the pandemic. When I left, I think you came right after.
I came when they reached out to me when they were about to reopen
at this
after
point,
the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I think you were still with Oxmoco or something.
I think one of the funniest things for me with you, Alex, is that I never get to call you cachondo. I don't know. It feels weird for me to call you cachondo because also, like I said, I respect you a lot, and I feel like calling you chef or Alex, it reminds me how hard you work and telling me your story, not just here but before. I really admire you, and I feel like
Thank you.
I can have you on my, in Instagram as a cachondo or something like that. But I remember the story when I was asked you once, like, why are you calling, like, why people calling you cachondo?
Every time I learn a new Spanish word, the Mexicans, because most of them were fucking Mexicans, they were like, "Oh, te lo dejo de tarea," like figure it out, like, animals or whatever the word was. Like I was like, "Oh, what is that? What does that mean?" Deja de tarea, pinche maco pendejo. ¿Cómo no sabes español? Like they'll bully me like that. They will fucking bully me, and I'll tell my dad, and my dad would be the opposite. Like, but I would like go through the mission and go through every floor and hope somebody would tell me what it fucking meant, and nobody would until then. I'm like, "Hey, dad, like somebody call me this, or what does that mean?" Es un animal bien pinche feo allá en el desierto. Hey, I was like, oh, fuck, like, it's like...
And what was the name of the animal?
I forgot now. But, so, like, stuff like that, like, but I learned to love it. And then, so, I was 17, and, I told my dad, my parents, the news of I was becoming a father. And so me and my dad were still working together. So my dad's a happy guy. My dad's, always full energy, good at, like whatever the storm is happening, like he shows up to work and, he always told me this, like, I'm working here for 8-10 hours, whatever the case is, like I want to show up and do my job and whatever goes out of work is at home.
Yeah.
You know? So, I went to the job, me and him showed up together. We had to work the next morning together. And he's sad, he's walking in there. And he's like, my dad's like, oh, pinche, all his coworkers would call him El Viejo. It's like, oh, pinche viejo, qué pedo, you know, like, why are you so sad? Or qué onda? ¿Por qué estás depre, you know? And my dad's like, oh, pinche maco pendejo. And my dad never curses at me. My dad's like, he's my hero. I love that guy. Like, he's everything to me. And he would never curse at me. But he goes, oh, pinche maco pendejo. Like, the first time I ever called me pendejo. And he was like, oh, pinche maco pendejo, ya dejó una vieja panzona. And I remember this guy, his name was, le decían el Boxy, from Puebla. And he was like, oh, pinche maco pendejo, cachondo. And I was like, cachondo? Like, what the fuck does that mean? He said, de lo de tarea. And I would go around the restaurant, like, yo, what does cachondo mean? Nobody will fucking tell me. And then I got to find out what it meant, right? So I was like, okay, whatever. And then fast forward, like, a couple years later, like, I was working at, I don't know where I was working at, but there was a chef that was walking with like a hot pot. And the line was like very thin. So you technically, in order for you to get to like the dishwasher or whatever the case was,
Everybody has to move away.
everybody has to move away. So he was walking by with his pot, you know, like I was like boiling, something was boiling. He was like, oh, like, you know, get out the way, cachondo, cachondo. But I'm thinking in my head, it's like, oh, he's calling me cachondo. So I'm
You're like,
staying there.
What do you
Like,
mean?
Like, oh, how do you know my name? It's like, what? I was like, how do you know my name? And he's like, get the fuck out of my way. It's like, I'm going in hot. Like, I have hot things. So I reacted fast, got out the way. Then I asked him, like, how, because he was like a European guy. So I was like, how do you know the word cachondo? And he was like, oh, it's like I worked with so many Mexicans all my life. And cachondo means, you know, cachondo means hot or horny, right? But he's like, and I was like, it makes sense. Like, the Mexicans showed you how to double slang,
Yeah.
you know, because everything we do is double slang.
Yeah.
No,
So he's
it's
like,
true.
cachondo.
Yeah.
And also, for who doesn't know why we're mentioning about the word hot is because everywhere you work, if someone has something hot, you have to let them know that you're walking by, and you say corner, hot, especially hot, so you don't burn anyone or you don't jump into someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you're moving around in the kitchen. Because when you go to the floor, it's like, you'll probably say it, but like in a lower voice tone. When you're in the kitchen, you say hot, caliente, cachondo.
Cachondo.
Now it's cachondo.
But yeah, so that's how it happened. And like, honestly, like, so that happened, and like the Mexicans around me like laughed because they thought like he was calling me cachondo. It's like, oh, so now he wasn't calling you cachondo, but now your name is cachondo.
Yeah. So they give you a nickname. They basically
Technically.
give you the nickname.
Yeah.
And going back to that name now, you started your consulting business. You also been consulting restaurants for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that, and if you can also, we're gonna leave the link on our bio, how to reach you, how to contact you, if somebody wants or plans to open up a bar or has any questions from you, they can probably reach out to you.
Nice. Yeah. So my Instagram is cachondo BK. It's easy. It's simple. We could talk about you know, how to, you know, train staff and how to keep staff, because I think that's very important to, like, you know, build
A team.
because I think a lot of restaurants nowadays, it's just very hard to do so. But like I said, I think I'm very fortunate enough to have great mentors, and I think I'm a welcoming guy that is like, you know, people that I work with, I'm always trying to take care of. And, you know, my cook just went to Quesadilla on Friday. He's like, I need to go to Quesadilla. I was like, all right, I'll cook again. You know, I'll put an apron on and I'll get behind the line. And
Yeah.
so I'm that type of guy. I'll dishwash if I have to. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
you
as
have
long
to
as
jump in and wear the hat.
wear the hat, because I've been in this shit for so long, and we all been in it for so long, that it's like you sacrifice certain things that you don't want to sacrifice, like your nephew's birthday or your kid's birthday.
And sometimes it feels like they each, or like it feels a need. Like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I want to jump behind there and do this. I want to like feel that, you know, like that
Adrenaline.
energy.
Yeah.
And I think also like Mexicans, right? We have that energy that we always wanna
Take care of each other.
work and take care of each
Be a
other.
team player too. You know, that's probably being a team player.
and get the work done. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much, Chef. You're working at
Revival.
Revival,
Yeah.
and like you can find Chef Alex there, and it's also a cocktail bar,
Yes.
right? And I've been there as well. We have the opportunity to try your food,
And the
which
food is
really
amazing.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to come try the food. I have to say the pasta was my favorite. Well, not my favorite. I think all of it is great, but the pasta was really good.
Yeah.
That was like, god damn. God damn, man.
And yeah, definitely, like I said, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Edgar, for another night of good time with Alex and the cats and the drinks. Thank you for watching us, and we'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time. Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us in our Instagram page, YouTube channel. We're gonna leave the links underneath. Please.
You know my Instagram name too.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna leave my phone number. Just kidding.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Guys.
My number. I'll
Take
leave my
care.
number.
Over and out. Corte y fuera.